Hey, Advanced Band, I'm just going to walk you real quick through the Pachelbel Motif assignment. Hope you're enjoying my new glasses. Somebody sent them to me just as a random gift. They are blue light blocking glasses. I'm not sure if they really work or benefit you in any way, but they kind of look like cows, and I love cows, so I'm wearing them today. All right, I'm going to bring you over to the Google Classroom assignment. So the first step is to enter the Pachelbel progression into the bass clef. So let's head over to Note Flight. All right, so once you're in Note Flight, as always, the first step is to hit Create the assignment, and that will bring you to the score after you click OK. Here we are. Our very first step before we do anything else is to go over here to the sidebar. So click on these three lines to bring out the sidebar. And click on Measure. Make sure it has a little orange check to it, next to it. If it doesn't, click it. Okay, once you've clicked on Measure, that should bring up these tools here in the toolbar. Click on Change Key Signature. And Change Key Signature is the button that has these little hashtags in it. These are actually called sharps. Click on those. We want to be in the key of G. If you don't know what the key of G means or what it means to be in a key besides one key or another, whatever, it doesn't matter. All we need to know right now is we're clicking on the key of G because G has one sharp in it. So you see the key signature with one sharp labeled G. That's the one you click OK. Here we are. Our very next step is to click on the bass clef because that's where we're entering our motif. So it doesn't matter if you read bass clef or treble clef right now. We're putting our notes into the bass clef. That said, if you read treble clef, this next part might be kind of confusing because the note names are different. Just go along. I believe in you, okay? All right, so we're going to start with G. So you can either do that with your arrow with your mouse, if you know where G is. Otherwise, you can click it on your keyboard. I'm going to use my keyboard here. Click G. Our next step is to make this into a whole note because we're going to be using whole notes the whole time here in the bass clef. So go up like you usually do to the toolbar here and click on whole note once you have your G in. And you want to have, here, I'll go back here. You want to have this selected, right? It has to be orange in order for it to change. So make sure it's orange and then click whole note. There you go. Now the rest of our notes should be whole notes. If you have a lot of music reading experience and you have a developed ear, maybe you've taken lessons for a while, maybe you have some previous composition experience, I'm going to challenge you not to watch what I do in the next minute or so of the video. I'm going to challenge you to listen here and just transcribe this by ear into your score. If you don't have a lot of music reading or composition or ear training experience, don't worry, you're still a very valuable human. You've just got some areas to grow in that other people don't. You're a brilliant person in yourself. You grow in other areas where those same people might not have those skills. Okay, great. Listen. Here is the Pachelbel progression. This is what you heard in the cello part. G, D, E, B, C, G, C, D. And those are all whole notes. So you watched that in the Pachelbel Canon in D video that was attached in the assignment. So that's played in like the cello part always, or in the tuba part, just in a low instrument. And that motif, that goes throughout the entire song in whatever instrument, in the piano, tuba, cello, whatever, trombone. I've played it on guitar at some weddings before. Okay, so we have our first G. Our next note is a fourth down to D, and then one whole step up to E, fourth down to B, half step up to C, fourth down to our tonic pitch G, back up a fourth to C, and then D is just a whole step above. And there you have it. And you're going to have this extra little measure at the end. Don't worry about it. The next step is to go up to the treble clef. And you're using either G, B, D, or E, these 4 notes, throughout all of these measures. And they might be kind of dissonant in some parts, but those 4 notes should fit pretty well with this whole motif, okay? So you can, if you don't have an idea in mind, I invite you to just start randomly. Let's see, I'm just going to break G, B, D, E, D, G, B, D, E. Oh, I didn't want it to go that high, so maybe I'll drag a couple of these down. Okay, and then I'll keep going. All right, so we've only used 3 different notes here. I'm just going to drag that down so it's not confusing. We've only used G, B, D, and E. Did I say 3 different notes? I meant 4. Sorry to confuse you. Okay, we only have G, B, and D, and E throughout this whole little melodic randomness that I just made. Let's listen. Wow, right? So that randomly turned out pretty well, okay? If you have things that you want to change then, like maybe you want this to go down instead, or you want it to be in the chord, just double click on your note. And maybe you want to stay in the D chord, so you double click to change your note. All right, and here I'm just using my ear to fix things. I'm not even really thinking about the music theory. Okay, best of luck to you. If this is too hard, don't fret. Use half notes instead, okay? So double click on this, make sure you're in. Change these all to half notes. And this will cut the amount of notes that you need to enter in half, okay? So you can just enter half notes. I hope that makes sense. If it's too easy, then use any notes you want and any note duration you want. You can use 8th notes, 16th notes. You can use F sharp, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, as long as it's in the key of G. Hope that makes sense. Let me know what questions you have. I'm hoping also that this gets us a little bit more familiar with note flight. I'll see you next time.